So, you won an award or hit a number nobody else on your team even came close to, and then you decide to take that information and bury it somewhere between the bullet points on your resume describing your daily duties. Technically, it's not wrong to list them like that, but there are better ways to make the most out of your awards and achievements. Hi, Kickresume here. We've already helped more than 8 million people around the world get hired at places like Google, Microsoft, and Nike, and today we'll show you how to list your awards and achievements on a resume. First, awards and achievements are not the same thing. An award is a third-party recognition, something a school, employer, or an organization gave you, usually with a certificate to prove it. For example, Employee of the Year, or some kind of scholarship. An achievement, on the other hand, is a measurable result that you earn through your own work. Nobody hands you a certificate for it. You prove it with numbers. For example, increased retention by 18%. But don't worry, if you haven't increased retention by 18% or know what retention really means, these tips will still majorly enhance your next resume. Now that we know the difference between achievements and awards, let's talk about where to actually put them on a resume. There are 3 places they can go: your resume summary, your work experience section, or a dedicated awards and achievements section. Which one you use depends on how many you have and how relevant they are to the job that you're applying for. If you only have 1 or 2 standout achievements, you can weave them into your resume summary or work experience bullets. However, if you have 3 or more that are genuinely relevant, give them their own section. A dedicated section makes them much more noticeable, so recruiters don't have to go digging for them inside your job descriptions. So let's start with the resume summary. This is the first thing a recruiter sees when they look at your resume. Placing your awards and achievements here helps you differentiate yourself from the other applicants. When you lead with your results, you're telling the recruiter what you can do for them before they've read a single bullet point below it. Next, work experience. This is where achievements naturally live, since they're tied to what you actually did in the role. The key here is the formula: action plus context plus result. Instead of responsible for managing social media, manage social media accounts across 3 platforms, growing follower count by 45% in 6 months. It's not just the number that matters, although the number is crucial, it's the number plus the context which makes it believable. Increased sales by 20% is good, but increased sales by 20% in a declining market is much better, because context makes the achievement feel more valid. Now, awards work a little differently inside of work experience. Since they're external validation, you can just keep them short and factual. Something like Employee of the Month, awarded for consistently exceeding sales targets, is enough. You don't need 3 lines justifying why you got it. And now let's talk about the dedicated awards and achievements section. Where you place that section also depends on your resume format. If you're an experienced professional using reverse chronological resume, put awards and achievements near the end, after skills. If you're newer to the field and going with a functional or combination resume, move it up right after the skills, before work experience. That way recruiters can see your proof of excellence before they even see your possibly thinner job history. Now, with the section placement sorted, let's talk about how to actually write your achievements and awards well. The same rules that I've already mentioned before also apply here. Rule 1, quantify everything you can and don't forget to add context. Once again, improved team performance doesn't tell a recruiter much. Improved team delivery speed by 22% by redesigning workflow check-ins tells them everything. What you did, how you did it, and what changed because of it. Not sure how to quantify your achievements? Well, we made a whole video to show you how. Check it out here. Rule number 2, include the date. This one is mainly for awards. Mentioning Employee of the Month from 3 years ago is fine, but tell the recruiter when it happened. Rule 3, mention the scope. Was this a regional award, a company-wide one, an international competition? Scope tells the recruiter how competitive it really was. So a bad example of putting your award on a resume would look something like this, and a much better version of the very same award could look something like this. Now, why should you consider putting your awards and achievements into a dedicated section? Firstly, it brings all of your strongest proof into one place. When achievements are spread across several jobs, recruiter may miss them while scanning. Secondly, it lets you include accomplishments that don't belong under a specific job. These could be academic awards, scholarships, industry competitions, volunteer achievements, professional certifications, or recognition from outside your workplace. It can also help you feel like your job titles alone don't do you justice. Maybe your previous role sounds fairly standard, but you were the top performing salesperson in your region or led the most successful campaign of the year. A dedicated section makes sure those details don't get buried. And finally, it creates a stronger first impression. Recruiters scan resumes quickly, so a clearly labeled section full of awards, rankings, and measurable results can make you more memorable to them. And that's it for today. Now go update that resume of yours and never get stuck in the process, because with Kickresume's AI Resume Builder, we're here to help you keep things moving. See you next time.